I'd like to go ahead and say that I was petty with this project because it basically started when someone told me on the internet that you cannot make a Tudor dress out of thrifted curtains. And I said, bet. So I went to Goodwill, found 2 curtain panels, this really cool piece of brocade, and I just got to work. I started out by getting my embroidery machine running so I could get the black work cuffs because I gave myself a week to do this. I know. Why? This was my last Joann's purchase, and I was able to get 3 yards of this really cool cotton flannel, and that became my farthingale. I took apart all the boning from a previous project to get this done. I took all of my scraps and I stuffed the little bum roll pocket thingy, and I put it in the back of my farthingale. Turned out beautiful. Still trying to match these black work cuffs up. They were a problem the entire time. And I basically used the Tudor tailor pattern from the book, drafted it up where I was happy. Please admire my crazy pajama change that goes on throughout this video. It was originally a 50-minute video. I have got it down to 4 minutes, 46 seconds. This was where I was asking you guys on the internet, what do I do with this front panel? And you all picked the brocade. I knew that the bulk of my curtain panels were going to go into the skirt, so I unpicked the hem of the curtains and the kind of little tube section where you run the rod through, and I wound up with 10 extra inches of fabric, and I was able to cut out all my back panels, piece some parts together, but you know, piecing is period, so that's fine. We're just going to ignore that. It's only when we get to the sleeves that we really run into a problem. Again, we ignore that. It's fine. No one knows. That's fine. And then I started working on my skirt. The fabric was very flimsy. It's polyester, you know, it is how it is. So I went back to Goodwill, found this really long tablecloth, and the tablecloth worked out perfect. Trying to clear enough space to cut on the floor was impossible. Made it work. Don't ever want to think about it again. And here's where the problem started. I ran out of fabric for my sleeves, but I did get whatever this thing is called, and I ripped that apart, and that is going to become my sleeve lining. Again, you're not going to see it, but just know it's there. It's fine. Here is what all of the skirts looked like. I just wanted to pin these up before I went to bed just to see how they looked. I think once I cartridge pleat, they're going to look beautiful. Of course, now I have reached the part where every costumer begins to dread the project. The cartridge pleating section. Cartridge pleating, if you don't know, is where you run 2 long threads and you space each stitch perfectly together, and then you pull them to create these big giant pleats. Yeah, there's a lot more work that goes into it, but that's the layman's terms for you. And that is what I did here. Could I have used a third panel? 100%. Did I have access to a third panel? No, I didn't. So I made it work. I think it turned out really good. So now we're back to the sleeves. The sleeves are made up of 3 different fabrics. The top sleeve, which is just a small section that you're going to actually see, was made of the same fabric with my skirt. I wound up cutting just enough to do my placard and my top of the sleeve. The bottom sleeve was made of that thingy that I ripped up that I still don't know the name of. That was amazing. It turned out perfect. And then I had this very thin velvet that I found, which I wasn't a fan of, but you know, needs must. And I was able to get all that together. So when I fold back the velvet, you don't see that I have a third random fabric. It looks like it's all made of the same fabric. Please pat me on the back. It was 2 a.m. and I was so proud when I figured it out. And every single scrap on this project counted. That was the last of my scraps. The placard was so frustrating because I wanted to have some boning in it to give it some support, but my velvet was so flimsy. I kept having to add different things to make sure that you didn't see the boning, rip the boning out, wound up going with 1 bone, finally just said, no more, I'm done. Made my false sleeves, which again, I feel like I have learned a lot since doing this. I feel like I could do them 10 times better. And then it was filming time. This was the get ready with me to go to Anne Boleyn's execution that I did for a Wolf Hall project. And looking back, I love this costume. I'm really pleased. Could I have done spiral lacing? Yeah, I know. Please don't come for me. I forgot about it. But I think considering it's made out of Goodwill fabrics, I think it's amazing. So the next time someone tries to gaslight you and tell you that you cannot make anything out of Goodwill curtains or thrifted materials, tell them just to be quiet. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay, bye.